Well, hello, everybody.
Good eve, ladies and germs.
I got tired of the people watching me press the button and then say, well, hello, everybody.
So we press, then pause.
You won't see that, but that's what we did. It's Sports and Spaghetti. Welcome to all of our new viewers that we've just accumulated in the last week. Welcome to an episode in particular that you've influenced in some way. We'll get to that later. But yeah, 75 episodes of Sports and Spaghetti. That's a small milestone. We're 3/4 of the way to 100.
Which is insane. That's insane.
Yeah, that's a lot of episodes of a podcast, a continuously running podcast, by any stretch.
We're about to be the Simpsons, baby.
Oh, you don't. And there were. I mean, think about everything in 75 episodes that personally we've gone through. I mean, at least Anthony and I. You got it. You got a job.
Yeah.
New car.
And a new
And a
car.
new car.
All good. All good. We've had some tribulations.
And I just started school again.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I just started classes again. I'm going back to school
For what?
for radiology.
No, he's not.
Yes, I am.
That's
No, he's
awesome.
not.
I'm taking biology right now
What are you doing radiology for?
for the money.
Where are you taking? How come I didn't? Why am I finding out about this here? I just saw you.
I don't know. I didn't think it was that important.
That's massive, dude.
I
That's
saw
awesome.
him 48 hours ago.
Well, he wasn't in classes yet.
Yeah, I was.
He was in
I
classes.
saw him 48
Classes started
hours
last
ago. Dude, you didn't tell us last week?
I guess not. I didn't think about it.
What? See, you have to pry it out of this guy sometimes.
Dude, see, this is
Radiology.
what your students need to understand. I just don't think what I have to say is that important.
Well,
What your students also need to understand, and they should know this by now because they've been with you for like a week, but you like to talk. And you
they know that.
Oh, see? So they already know that.
They've seen me on the news.
It's the Yap Squad.
It is. And
They've seen me on the
Anthony's
news.
like your little twin over there. So,
Fraternal.
I'm just not a talker.
You've done a lot of talking already today. And you're going to do even more talking when you try nachos for the first time. How'd
That's
you like
true.
that transition? Today, I cooked somehow. Managed to do that. I'm not humble bragging. I just don't know. A lot of things had to happen in order for me to cook that. I had a mouths to feed, and then there's a leak in my basement, so I had to deal with that. I had to get the landlord on the phone, Melissa's aunt, and figure that out. And there's a thing with the toilet, and it's just it's a real hullabaloo.
Well, it's like we
fiasco.
brought up this idea, and then Chris was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and then it was just radio silence. So I was like, "I hope we did something." Or
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I played it up over at work to my coworkers, to my classes, who some of them said they'd be like and subscribe, like Sabrina says. But today we decided to, and this was Anthony's idea actually, to take a school lunch.
this may become a recurring series too.
Oh, this is fantastic. And improve upon it, revamp it, if you will. So the meal that I chose, obviously I said nachos. I didn't just make chips and cheese. I also didn't do fully loaded nachos. I did the lunch that gets served at school, and that's Mexi chicken nachos. I don't know why they're called that. I know I know that a lot of the meals at school cater to all cultures.
I can confidently say Watertown never had Mexi chicken nachos.
I believe it, and being that Danbury is the 10th most diverse city in the country, Mexi chicken nachos are they're a staple on the menu. They're on there usually once a month, at least once a month. They're on the menu. They were on the menu last week. I think the second day of school, so it would have probably been last Wednesday or last Thursday. So what I ended up doing is I suggested this to you guys, and they were like, all right, I love it. And so I decided to do some research. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to find out exactly what the Mexi chicken nachos looked and tasted like. And so what better way to do that than to ask students at school what they thought of the Mexi chicken nachos. And the overwhelming majority of people that I asked said that they were sort of turned off to them at times because of the preparation. So they use at school most of the time, not every time, but most of the time it's like the nacho sauce, the cheese sauce, right?
Call that liquid gold, brother.
Yeah. So, and they said sometimes they have bacon on them, but usually they have, so it's the chips in like a boat, and they have they either have.
And he does mean boat.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't know where you were going with that.
I knew where he was going.
At least they have the cheese on them, or sometimes they have shredded Mexican blend cheese. That's what it's called. I'm not being racist. That's what it's called. I'm looking at all the students watching right now. Not racist. That's what it's called. Go to the store. Be cultured. They have that sprinkled atop them. Just sprinkled. It's not melted. It's just sprinkled. Or sometimes the cheese is in a cup as well. So it's chips, chicken, cheese in a cup, and then perhaps... don't sip the water. Perhaps there's like a smattering of other things, such as like sour cream, scallions, and the like. I have to be careful. I have to be nice. I have to behave myself now.
I don't.
No, you can say escallion however you want, but they know I speak Spanish too. Anyway. So what I did was I wanted to say, well, I certainly want the cheese to be melted on nachos. I want to go on record as saying I'm not a big fan of nachos. They're very unhealthy. There's no way you can make nachos healthy. If you make them the way they're made, they're not healthy. I just want to make sure they don't get soft because they're they're steaming. I just made
Condensating.
them. Yeah, and they're fine. But what I wanted to make sure of is that they were authentic nachos. But I also wanted to make them in a way that I would eat them, because if I made them and didn't want to eat them, then what good would that be? Some people put olives on them. Some people throw sour cream on them. To each his own. I made Mexi chicken nachos, though. I kept it pretty simple per the recipe or per the ingredient list for school. Now, keep in mind, school has to do it so that it fulfills certain requirements. So there has to be a certain amount of whole grain in the meal. There has to be a certain amount of protein in the meal. There also has to be... it can't include any shellfish. It can't include any nut products.
Still getting boned by Michelle Obama out here, brother.
Yeah.
It's been how many years?
A long time. There can't be. There's a lot of restrictions on the food, and it has to fill the My Plate recommendation. It used to be the My Pyramid. Yes. It's been My Plate for a long time now. But anyway, it does have to fulfill requirements. So there's a limit to what the school can do, but there's not a limit to what I could do. So this is what I made. I made Mexi chicken nachos. I cooked the chicken. Well, I'll talk about it when you eat it. Have a bite. Take a bite with cheese. I layered them on top of each other in here. I didn't cook them in that, obviously. They were nice sheet in the oven. Nice little. They smell so good when they're cooking, though, and they taste great. I just don't like how unhealthy they are.
Gotta get some of the Mexi chicken, brother.
Isn't that Mexi chicken?
So while they eat,
Is that not
I'll
Mexi
explain
chicken?
what I did.
Is that Mexi chicken?
I took.
Okay.
You could see the achote on my hands.
Is that Mexi chicken?
No, take a better piece. Anyway, what I did was I heated up a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and I sweated scallions and garlic. Then I added in the chicken. The chicken was just sazon. It's sazon chicken. I wanted it to have the flavor. I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't want to do anything nuts. So I just did sazon chicken in the oven 15 minutes on 400. It was cooked. I flattened it a little bit. And then I shredded it. Put it on top in the scallion mixture. Put 8 ounces of salsa. I got this salsa. Have you ever had the Cholula's? I've never tried it until now. Cholula is my favorite hot sauce, and it is quickly becoming a favorite salsa. It's not that expensive. It's so yummy, though. Oops. So I put that in there. 8 ounces of that, so 1 cup of that. Then I laid the chips out. It was just a whole bag of Tostitos. Just a bag of Tostitos. And I put the mixture on top, the chicken mixture on top that I just talked about. And then I put cheese and some jalapenos right on top. There's a couple. I used 1 jalapeno's worth, and some of them I chopped up and I put in with the scallions just for a little bit of spice, but not too much. I didn't want it to be like kick you in the pants spicy. I just wanted it to be like, an underlying thing. And then I cooked them in the oven for 10 minutes with the cheese on top, the Mexican blend cheese, and that's it. It's easy. I mean, if you have the chicken already made, it's 15 minutes. It took me 25 minutes, 30 minutes, because I had to make the chicken, then the nachos. But I started this at like 6:15, and it was done by 6:45. 30-minute meals. It's nachos.
Those are gas.
Yeah, I agree.
Those are absolute gas.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
I agree.
They're good. I thought it was good.
Like top. I know it's just nachos. I would say like top 3 things we've ever done on the show.
No!
Yeah.
They are pretty solid.
Wow! I don't know if the ones at school are.
I think I would have to.
Like my on-camera eating phobia, but I'm taking a third
I
bite.
know. I know.
I'm trying to think of everything I've tried on this show, but that I think is number 1. I think so for the Picky Nicky series right now.
Wow.
Well, first of all, I didn't think I was gonna like nachos because I don't like cheese. Second of all, the thing that always turned me off about nachos was like seeing them at like sporting events with the liquid,
Oh!
and it looks so.
Oh, never.
And it looks
Never
so
would
gross.
Ugh.
So that's what always turned me off about them. But I don't know. It wasn't actually as cheesy as I thought it would be.
It's not that it's cheesy. It's when the cheese gets cooked like that and melts,
Yeah.
and it gets that little browning on top of it. It doesn't taste cheesy. It almost tastes like a cracker.
Yeah.
It tastes like a Cheez-It on top of there.
But the chicken made it really good.
Chicken is
The
delicious.
chicken was gas.
Only thing I would change about the chicken, I would shred it on the nachos.
Well, that was my shredded
Yeah, I know.
chicken. I had 5 minutes.
I was gonna say it just looks like he didn't have enough time.
have enough time to make it pretty. Yeah, no,
It's
I
gas,
know.
dude.
It's
That's
big
like-
chunks.
That's like restaurant appetizer type. I would order at a
Thank
restaurant.
you. You'd order that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That makes me happy. It was a very hectic afternoon, so that I could whip that up makes me really proud of myself.
For the Picky Nicky series,
Yeah.
I will give it a 10.
Oh my God!
I will. I mean,
Wow!
because something.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if anything's gonna beat that, so it just has to go in
What?
that spot. Just out of things I've tried for the first time, I just
Don't
tried
just
that for
say
the
because
first time.
the students are watching.
No, I'm
No,
not.
I'm
They
yeah.
clown me day in and day out.
No.
already.
Dead serious.
I never liked nachos. I never
Wow.
tried them. I thought they were gross. I tried
Wow.
these.
I appreciate
and
that.
they were really good.
I really appreciate that, guys. That means a lot to me. That I could make you guys happy with my food. That's all you ever want.
I can't imagine trying anything else that will beat that.
Wow.
Genuinely.
Wow. I don't know. Anthony's got some good stuff, man.
Not that I'll like.
So my first initial thought of what I wanted to do for this series, Nikki's probably gonna hate. It's the cheesy pizza dunker.
Oh, what are those called?
The
though?
Bosco sticks.
Bosco sticks. That's right.
I know I can make it better
Wait, why would I hate a Bosco stick?
because it's all cheese.
Yeah, but I like
I don't-
cheesy bread.
I don't really like Bosco sticks.
I like
would
cheesy
try
bread.
yours. You
All right,
do?
so
do you
I do.
like mozzarella sticks?
No, I've never had a mozzarella stick.
I think our school lunch series just got its second episode eventually.
Bosco sticks,
Bosco
absolutely.
Do we want to have your kids think of a name for this segment?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So Mr. Walker's class.
This is fantastic. I have 5 classes, so
Yeah, all 5 of his classes, whoever listens, whoever comes up with the name that we pick, he said he's going to give you 15 extra credit points.
That's insane.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Maybe one.
they know. they know. They know how I roll though already. I'm not like that. I'm not like, no, we're going to get through the year. We're going to all get through it, and we're all going to be okay. We're going to do it together. It's really going to be fun.
If they get us 10,000 followers, they pass their finals.
You know what? If they get if somehow we get 10,000 followers from me being a teacher,
Everybody passes their
I'll
finals.
buy the whole school ice cream or something. I'll do an ice cream event for the whole school. I don't care. A pizza, something. But yeah, thank you guys. That means a lot. That was a fun. It was easy to make. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. It was just easy. You could have made that. Anybody, you could have made
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
It's good. I'll make that again. Melissa didn't try them. She was Hardin's a Velcro baby today. So she was like, they look good. She might text me at some point and say, well, those are great. Or she might not even try one until I get home. But in any event, yeah, it was easy to make. Thanks.
Yes,
That's
sir.
that.
Those are
That's-
gas. Absolute
Wow.
gas.
Thank you. All right.
They taste like it kind of tastes like mom's chicken tacos on a chip, like straight up.
I mean, it's not far off because the seasoning is sazon. It's actually sazon tropical. So it's not in the
It's
packet.
the blue one.
No, it's not the packet. It's a shake.
Yeah.
It's like a normal seasoning container that you shake, and to be honest with you, I forget the ingredient that makes it tropical. If you want to look it up, you can. It's really the same vibe, but it's more so a sprinkle on seasoning as opposed to add it to your rice, which like the packet would
Is
be
it
more
the
for.
orange or the green? You said the green?
It's this one. If that's orange. Just give me orange or green. I'm looking at it from the side.
So it is, it's sazon with coriander and annatto.
Well, they usually have annatto because that's a shote.
I know.
And okay, it has coriander in it. That's the difference. You can get the regular sazon with that.
Sazon is kosher.
Oh.
It's kosher. I love that. But yeah, it is. It's kosher.
I know what that
Oh,
means.
yeah.
I said, who cares?
Well, they can't have chicken nachos anyway because you can't have meat and dairy in the same.
That's right. It's a moot point. Yeah, so I use that, which is not to say that it's like Old El Paso taco seasoning is a disservice to sazon, but it's along the same lines. It's kind of along those lines. But yes. Okay. What do we say? I would like to talk about the in no particular order. Please. May I?
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, this is in no particular order with Mr. Chris Walker.
Well, who was it that said the
I'm gonna just keep eating nachos.
Okay. Who was the some politician, I'm not going into politics, I promise. Some politician, was it Pelosi that came to the stage the one time and goes, I'm not going to bother saying it's a good day because it certainly isn't one. On a serious note, the worst of the week is drunk drivers. And I was thinking of a way to talk about the Goudreau brothers. because you can't really gloss over this on a weekly podcast because that would just kind of be ignorant, and that would not be doing it justice. So the worst of the week, I'm not going to scream and yell. I'm going to do that for the bad of the week, not the worst of the week. I'm not going to scream and yell. I just want to say that if you ever get into a car and you were drinking, you're just a fool. That's really it. That's really all there is to it. And there's just, how do you forgive somebody? How do you forgive somebody that drives drunk? Not forget what he did. Forget him going around on the curb side of the road trying to pass a truck that was moving out of the way for these two, Matthew and Johnny Gaudreau. But how do you do that? How do you get into a car drunk and start speeding around? It's just a terrible mindset to have. A terrible thing. Horrifying. It's sickening, really. Right? Am I wrong?
No, I mean it's.
There's nothing to say. It's just
No.
disgusting, and there's no way to forgive that.
To the guy's credit, there is obviously no credit, but he didn't flee the scene. He didn't lie and this and that. He said, no, I had 6 or 7 beers, and he stayed at the scene and everything. So
Right.
I guess that gave, the family a little bit of closure because it's pretty much open and shut. But
First of all, the guy didn't even want to stay in jail all weekend.
yeah, that was ridiculous.
I'm sorry. Listen, I know people make mistakes, right? People make mistakes and do things that they didn't mean to do and they shouldn't have done. And maybe they lose a job or they, or something happens bad or they lose a relationship or whatever. People make mistakes. But now the mistake it's more than that. Because
2 people are dead.
I'm not talking about NHL hockey players. I'm talking about 2 people.
It's a husband and a father and a brother and
expecting another baby and attending, sister or brothers of this girl that's getting married the next day. It's the family. The family is just destroyed, decimated by this. And no GoFundMe. I mean, the GoFundMe raised like $300,000 in the first day.
we're at 500 at least.
There you go.
He's an idiot.
He's forget
an
the
idiot.
GoFundMe. What is money going to do? That's one thing they don't have to worry about. Right, right. He was a professional hockey player, but he didn't have the
Career
that his brother did, and that's understandable. He's still a pro. He's still playing the AHL for the Sound Tigers, which is fun.
Well, another thing that sucks is if you saw the picture on ESPN that they posted when he was playing with the Sound Tigers, he had the drive sober, get pulled over patch on his jersey.
I did not notice that, but yeah, it's scary because little did he know.
I think one of the worst parts for me is that people are like complaining that now all of a sudden like people care about drunk driving
Because they were athletes. But no, it's always
This happens
Yeah.
all the time, and it should never happen. I'm not trying to be a speaker on this. I'm just saying it's the worst of the week. It's the worst. It's terrible. And then it's Johnny Gaudreau. I'm not saying that if it was anybody else, it would be any less bad or worse or anything, but it's like, and his brother, the two of them, these are 2 ambassadors for the game of hockey.
Exactly. There's a difference, right? Like every time there's a tragedy like this, of course it's somebody's son, it's somebody's husband, it's somebody's father, but they just didn't have the impact. Regular people, we don't have the impact that the Gaudreau brothers
No,
did.
they used their position and their platform for good, and especially Johnny with his height, with his size. He gave a lot of shorter hockey players like myself, even though he's not a goalie, they gave a lot of shorter hockey players somebody to look up to. And not just somebody to look up to, but an elite guy. He's got his own nickname. He's Johnny Hockey.
I mean, I think it was on the show. I was almost a Flames fan because of him.
Yeah.
When I went to if I had to pick a new team.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that he ended up in Columbus. No offense to Columbus, because now Columbus is dealing with their second huge loss of life over the summer in a couple of years. Kiv Lennox, the goalie, a couple of years ago with the fireworks, passed away. And now this. It's just insane. It's so bad. The worst is drunk drivers. Anyway, I'm done now. Okay.
Not a light in the mood.
Let's talk about Clay Holmes, okay? Now I'm going to get annoyed because I sat and stood and cooked dinner and walked the dogs and put Sabrina to bed and held my son and sang Dave Matthews songs to him to make him go to sleep. That's fine. That's fine. He's got to get acclimated to it now. He's going to deal with it, okay? Now Sabrina knows all the words to Crush, so it pays off. Anyway, I did all that, and whilst doing that, the Yankee game was on this computer. The Yankee game was, it was 1-0. Carlos Rodon pitched a great game. 10 strikeouts, 10 strikeout effort. 6 innings he went? It was just beautiful. Beautifully done. 1 run. He gave up a solo home run. Listen, that 1 run being a solo home run, you deserve to win the game as the pitcher. He pitched a great game, and guess what? Sure enough, to pick him up in the top of the, if it was either the 6th or 7th, I think it was the 7th. Yeah, in the top of the 7th inning, the Yankees rallied with some timely hitting by Alex Verdugo, who's been red hot lately, hitting over 300 in his last 10 games. I think well over 300, closer to 340. And Jazz Chisholm. All these guys are hitting, and the Yankees blow the doors open, and they lead 4-1. So the bottom of the 7th inning. Listen, Texas is not a good team, but they're not the worst team. They're a baseball team.
They're the defending World Series champions.
Okay. They're having a bad season. Bruce Bochy is a Hall of Fame manager whenever he decides to be done. It's just not their season. It happens. They were comparing them to the Red Sox that won and then were in last place. No, they're not as bad as the Red Sox. The Red Sox lost over 100 games that year. I don't think the Rangers are going to lose 100. I don't think. Anyway, that's beside the point. So the Rangers made it close. It was 4-3. Nothing happened in the 8th inning. A few chances here and there. And then the 9th inning comes around. And then Clay Holmes comes in to pitch the game. Now, if you remembered that on Monday, on Labor Day, there was also some issues with Clay Holmes. But he got out of trouble, and he got the save, and the Yankees won by 1 run. Holmes got the quick first out. I was like, all right, very good. You got to make 2 more pitches, man. 2. And then there's a walk. No, base hit. Then a walk. And then another walk. 4-3 game. Bases loaded, 1 out. You're 1 pitch away from getting out of the game. Nope. It did not happen that way. I forget his name.
It was Wyatt Langford.
Wyatt Langford hit a grand salami. A towering shot to left field. And I told Melissa, she was actually kind of engaged in the game. Not like a sports fan would be engaged to the game, but I was talking to her about it because Harden was just kind of asleep and she couldn't really move. And I was like, do you want me to take him? I can take him. She was like, no, he's sleeping. So I was explaining the game. I was like, watch this guy blow this. I was like, wow, he got the first out. I said, he's still going to blow it. Loaded the bases. I said, he loaded the bases. And she said, well, what? She goes, imagine if this guy hits a home run. I said, you want to bet? I said, I bet you he hits a home run. And out the ball goes. And she goes, oh, my God, that's so funny. She's not a Yankees fan. And you see Holmes walking off all mad. Terrible! What a terrible pitcher. He has blown an MLB high 11 saves this season. His ERA is now up over 3, and it was like 2.6 before this game. He gave up a bomb to Langford, who tagged them for a home run in the first game of the series as well. And now he's lost his closing role, mercifully. So what I wanted to touch on here is that Clay Holmes has a whip, okay? That's walks and hits plus innings pitched of 1.33. That's very high. That's an average of 1.3 walks or hits, walks and hits combined per inning pitched. That's not good. And he has 3.1 walks per 9 innings. He pitches 1 inning a game. It doesn't matter if he pitches 9 innings. It matters 1 inning. So, 55 innings. He has a career high 29 saves. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, you got Luke Weaver, Tommy Canley. I feel like Canley might be the guy.
Well, Boone said we're going to get creative.
Right, I saw that. We were going to get creative with it. It might still include Clay Holmes. I'm sure, again, Boone will go back to him. I'm sure he's going to go back to him. It's 4-1 this game. Let's see you, Clay, with a 3-run lead. Another salami.
I just don't understand why he just lets him bleed there. Like, I wish he could just look at the dugout and be like, Aaron, help me. Because you just look at the look on his face and he's walking that like 3 straight walks and then he's like looking to the dugout. Like,
body language is very poor.
It's horrible.
And he even said it. He said Holmes admits it's not like he's denying how bad he's pitched. He said it was terrible. He said he didn't have any stuff. He said he didn't feel good up there. He didn't feel confident up there. I mean, if your closer's not confident, look, at the 9th inning is different than every other
I was going
inning.
to say, to me, it's a full confidence thing with him because he was lights out in low leverage situations or even medium high leverage situations.
If he pitches in the 7th inning, he's going to make 3 outs. He's not a bad pitcher. He's just not a good closer. I'm not saying he's a bad pitcher. Okay, but closing, there's a reason why closers rotate, and then there's those legendary guys like Fernando Rodney, those guys that like close for a really long time. You got it. So, I mean,
Sergio Romo, Brian Wilson.
I'm not Mariano Rivera, obviously. But even a guy like
Kenley,
David Robertson, right?
Chapman.
Get out of here. Get out of this room.
Chapman.
Get out of this room.
Aroldis Chapman is another one of those guys who can pitch in high leverage situations. Not for the
Can he?
Yankees.
Not
for the Yankees. Other teams, yes, not for the Yankees.
He has 2 World Series rings. Do you know that?
Yeah, he's a winner.
None with the Yankees.
He's a winner. I was just going to say he's a winner. I mean, the list goes on and on. The Padres guy. Who's the Padres guy, the old guy?
Trevor Hoffman?
Trevor Hoffman. Thank you.
I can't lie. I love Chapman because just seeing like the face he makes when he blows it is just hilarious every time. He just looks back. He's like,
yeah. No.
It's not funny.
It's hilarious.
It's not.
It's every time.
And it's not every time. It's just when Altuve does it, which has been the 2 biggest. 2017 still to this day haunts me.
It is bad. Now listen.
His face, man.
So the good thing that comes of this is that he's not the closer, but he's terrible. He's terrible, and that's it. Here's the good news. Okay, the good of the week, and this is call it a cop out, call it corny, but it's actually a great of the week. I wrote great on there. The great of the week is that it's September, and this is going to transition us into our next segment. Hockey is back in September. There is preseason action on September 22nd for the Islanders. If you should like to partake, I will be watching that game. I will probably be yelling at the TV just because it doesn't matter who starts. I'm going to be happy. Anthony is tightening that water bottle, and he's getting a sippy sip, and he's going to try not to overdo it. But it's also September, and that means week 1 of the NFL actually starts tomorrow, Thursday. So by the time this podcast is up on Friday, a game will already have happened. But the NFL...
2 games.
There's 2 tomorrow?
No, 1 will happen, 1's about to happen.
Right. Tomorrow is the first NFL game, and Sunday is the first like the unofficial
NFL
opening
weekend.
day. It's NFL opening weekend, and it is here. And we're going to talk about football right now because there is meaningful football to be played now.
Well, boys,
I'm going to have a nacho.
they're delicious. Well, boys, it's time. This is what I've been waiting for all year. This is my favorite sport. I'm not going to overdo it like I did last year, like we spoke about with NCAA. We went through every ranking, and I was very wrong. Chris was actually very right, and that still to this day makes me upset. Anyway, if you watched last week, God, I hope you watched last week. And if you didn't watch last week, pause it right now. Go back, watch last week. Welcome back. So we're going to do some contenders and some pretenders again. Now, this does not mean, I want to preface, this does not mean these are Super Bowl contenders and number one overall draft pick contenders. It's just overrated versus underrated.
I also want to say, there is a team on this list that has no business being on this list.
No.
I just want to let everybody know that. When he says the team, you'll know who it is. But first, before we get to that abomination, we have the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are one of your contenders.
Yes, Titans are one of my contenders. I get it. They lost Derrick Henry. But they're going to be very good on defense. They're always very good on defense. They've shored up defensive line a little bit better. I believe Harold Landry missing the season again. Kind of sucks. No, Harold Landry will be in, so they have a pass rusher. Jeff Simmons, I think he's the number one or number two defensive tackle in the league. Now that Aaron Donald's gone, I think he's better than a lot of guys. I think he's better than Dex. I think he's better than Christian Wilkins. That means nothing. They lost King Henry. They have Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears. I think those two guys are going to combine to be 1,500-yard rushing combined, 20 touchdowns, 15 touchdowns. More than capable, and they revamped their entire offensive line. They paid Lloyd Cushenberry, who is their center, highest paid center in the league. Pete Skoronski's going into his second year. They drafted, I'm losing his name right now, cat from Alabama. Guy's a monster. But they have, J.C. Latham is his name. But they have retooled their entire offensive line. I think they're going to be good. Will Levis is going to sling it. And DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley, yes, they're old, but they're not bad. Am I right?
You're not wrong.
What are your thoughts?
I think they're not contenders.
Really?
I don't.
I think they are going to, honestly, I think they're going to finish better than Colts this season.
I could see that.
They're going to come in second in the AFC South.
I don't think they're contenders, man. They might make a wild card game and then lose. I don't think they're pushing anywhere near a Super Bowl, though.
Well, like I said, this segment is not Super Bowl versus number one pick. I just think they're going to be better than people are giving them credit for, is kind of what I'm going
for. That's valid.
All right, Anthony, let's talk about the quarterbackless Las Vegas Raiders. So when you say quarterbackless, you mean Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback over Aiden O'Connell.
Gardner's just going to go out there and sling it, brother. Eli drafted him in our fantasy league. Yeah. I believe that's just a jersey pick.
And you know something? He's got a sick name. He's a cool personality.
Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
Mike Leach offense. She's going to sling it.
And not a bad quarterback, but they don't have a quarterback.
No, this is going to be a scenario where a lot of the pieces around him are going to be way better, so they're going to overperform. And I think it's going to end up hurting Vegas in the long run.
So you have them as contenders?
I have them being better. I have them better than what they're projected to be. Because, I mean, say what you want to say.
Not bad.
Minshew's not bad, but say what you want to say. They still have Devontae Adams. They still have Max Crosby. They still have a solid offensive line. And they have a generational tight end that they drafted in Brock Bowers. And Antonio Pierce has these boys like ready to run through a wall. These guys beat the Chiefs on Christmas Day. People forget Antonio Pierce, yeah. People forget Antonio Pierce had these boys ready. I think, listen, man, I think they're going to be they're going to shock a lot of people. Again, I don't think they're going to make a run to the playoffs.
So how many wins do you think this team versus their projection? Well, people aren't thinking they're going to even win 5-6 games.
I could see 8-9 games, to be completely honest with you.
No shot.
You don't think so?
No shot.
I felt like the predictions of I feel like they could win 6. I think
I'll give them
is
6.
a stretch, but I mean, I don't think your points are bad.
Yeah, no, I just don't think Devontae isn't happy. We know that. I don't think
he said today that was BS.
Well, what he says.
Yeah, what he says isn't his body language on the sidelines. Isn't.
Did you watch Receiver on Netflix?
I did not.
His body language on the sideline is when Jimmy G is missing him wide open for a touchdown.
Yeah, and you think Gardner Minshew isn't going to do the same?
Gardner Minshew's going to throw dots. Brother.
I don't think Minshew is going to be as flippant and flaky on the field as Jimmy G.
He's not going to be as high of a ceiling as Jimmy, I guess, but he's going to be consistent.
Right, you know what you're getting with Minshew throwing the ball. You know what style of quarterback he is, and he's fairly consistent. He's not going to give you a Patrick Mahomes-esque performance. Maybe, every once in a while, but he's going to give you... The guy I think of is like Andy Dalton. He's like good.
So my thoughts, right? I think this Raiders team is better than this Colts. I think roster to roster, Raiders is better than the Colts last year. The Colts didn't roll over and die when Anthony Richardson got hurt.
Right.
Gardner did fine. Like if you I'm putting Devontae over Pittman. I'm putting anybody on that Raiders defense over anybody on the Colts defense.
Oh yeah, they had a very
they're
bad
coached
defense.
better. It's like that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't think they're going to roll over and die.
I like that. All right, now, Anthony, what's the matter with you? The Carolina Panthers are contender? What are you talking about? This team won how many games last year?
They won 2.
2 games.
One of them was against Houston. The other one was Atlanta. And then they pushed Green Bay to the limit in the very last game. But
to the limit, Nick.
That's a win for that
against
season.
The wall.
That is a win for that season.
Tell me why.
First off, it's me. What did you think I was going to say, brother? And then the next one for the pretenders, again, what did you think I was going to say? But no, in all seriousness, Carolina Panthers, they've revamped their whole offensive line. Dave Canales comes in, and he has finally given them a culture. And then there's reports now coming out that Bryce Young, we talked about this before on the show, that he had 4 different play callers or 4 different offenses he had to learn last year. This year, he's coming in with the same offense, the same play caller, the same everything, from day one until the season starts. But there's reports out that Frank Reich didn't introduce the pistol formation that they ran the most of week 1 until like the week before. There's reports that Matt Rule didn't really practice goal line or red zone offense. So there's reasons why the Panthers have been bad. I think Dave Canales is going to come in and be really good as a motivator, as a young head coach. Their defense is still going to fly around with Ejiro Evero. I think they're still going to fly around. They get Shaq Thompson back. They added Jadeveon Clowney. They lost Brian Burns. They get J.C. Horn back. And then on offense, again, they revamped their offensive line. They have receivers that can get separation, and it's not going to be an S show. You're welcome. It's not going to be that type of offense anymore. Now, again, do I think this team is going to make the playoffs? Well, yes, I do. But do I think this team is going to push for like a Super Bowl run? Absolutely not. This team is going to sneak into the wild card. This team is going to sneak into the wild card.
All right, this list is...
Look, you've just nullified...
They have 4 wins, Max.
No, they're not making the playoffs.
The Panthers are going to win 9 games.
4, Max.
This is worse than me. This is like me putting the Islanders to win the cup when the bracket challenge comes out.
But you do it every year, don't you?
Yeah. But I know they're not going to.
This team is going to make the playoffs.
I just do it so that I could say I said they were going to do it. I don't say it because I believe it. I thought they were going to get ousted by the Hurricanes, and they did. Come on, man. See, what's going to happen is you're going to say this, and you're going to lose credibility.
when they have 0 wins in
Well,
week
if
15.
well, if all my well, I did it last year, and I have so. I mean,
They can really only go up. From
I was going to
where
say
they
if
were
we're going
last year.
if we're going up, I said Bryce Young was going to win Rookie of the Year. Frank Wright's Coach of the Year. Dude didn't even make it halfway through the season. He got axed in like week 10.
I love it. At the same time, I do love it.
Listen, man, there's no way this team can be bad again. I refuse to let it happen
How are the Jets not on this list? But the Panthers are.
because I think the Jets are gonna win that division.
So they're contenders.
But people are
But
saying
people are
they're
saying
good.
the Jets are gonna win these are teams.
Yeah,
where
but
I
they-
don't know if
they were booty last
contenders-
week. They were booty
I don't
last
know
year.
if contenders is the word you're looking for. That's why contenders are like
so overrated versus underrated.
like the underrated ones: Panthers, Raiders, and Titans. And the overrated starts with the New Orleans Saints.
Well, I'm gonna start with an honorable mention at the very bottom.
All right, talk about the cow.
Dallas Cowboys. All they have is what? All they have is CeeDee Lamb.
They got
That's
that.
it. Who is?
They got my boy.
Yeah.
They got my quarterback.
But who are they
I don't
gonna?
like the Cowboys, but I do love Dak.
They don't have a run game. Ezekiel
35
Elliott is their starting running back. They have Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook. They have the best running backs of 2019.
Isn't
Congratulations.
that strange how that's come back to this?
Like, if you're a Cowboys fan, I know you're sick of Jerry Jones, and then he has the balls to double down.
Could say that.
I know. Then he has the balls to double down and be like, nobody could do this job but me. That's why I have it. What? What are you talking about? Nobody could do the job but you. You have not done a good job. Sorry to break it to you. You barely
Never won
wanted
anything.
to. You didn't want to pay CD. You're not going to pay Dak. He's a future New York Giant. Haha. Sorry.
In a past his prime sense.
Honorable mention Dallas Cowboys. Starting off next.
I think the Cowboys are.
Full-on pretenders.
Yeah, these guys.
I
are,
think they're pretenders, and they might not even be 500 this season. They suck. But I will say this: Dak Prescott is still going to put up some points.
It's true. But there's going to be a lot of internal conflict.
Chris, your team should be Death Taxes and Dak Prescott. That should be your team
It's
name.
true.
I like my team name.
I didn't even. Oh, yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah,
Giuseppe.
Giuseppe.
Yeah.
That's an Impractical Jokers thing. I'll go to big dong.
So the New Orleans Saints. This isn't so much as they're overrated. I just think they're going to suck. This is also me being a hater.
I don't like any team that Sean Payton's ever coached.
This is even that high school team.
I agree. I don't think the Saints are going to be good.
I think the Saints are going to be picking at number 2 this year, only behind the New York Giants because the Giants are going to be horrendous.
I think Olave is overrated.
I like Olave. I like him, but I mean Derek Carr is your quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's more of the problem for him.
Alvin Kamara, who should be in jail, is your starting running back.
All these guys are coming back through the woodwork. Zeke, Kamara. What are we doing?
Like
That doesn't happen.
Kendre Miller. I think it's Kendre Miller was their other. He was supposed to start out at I think it was TCU, but he's injured.
Why, Anthony, are all of these old running backs like that? That's just not how running back works.
Well, it's. I don't know because they don't want to pay the young guys.
I need Leonard Fournette to come back.
And he was visiting with
The Buccaneers last year?
no. He's on the Bucs, visiting with the Colts, I think.
Frank Gore.
Oh, you're talking about this year?
Yeah,
I didn't know he was still visiting.
yeah,
the
he was
team.
visiting with. I think it was the Colts.
Frank Gore.
Love Frank Gore. His son is on the
He's a
Bills
beast.
practice squad. Frank Gore Jr. Anyway, Saints. Again, I don't think they're going to be great. I think the defense is aging. Their best players are Demario Davis and Cam Jordan, and I hate Cam Jordan. We know this. They have Paulson Adebo. He's all right. They have Marshawn Lattimore. He's a good corner, but when it comes to the lines, their O-line, D-line, not that great. I think they're going to be exposed. Get ready. Week 1, Carolina's coming for you, baby.
So you think the Giants are the worst team in football this year?
The Giants will be lucky to win 3 games.
I think Giants fans would agree, though. So, what about Dub Bears?
Well, sorry, Jack, but
Well,
I don't think this team is ready, right? I'm not saying they're going to this is in my notes. I'm not saying these guys are going to suck. They're just very, very overrated. let's see what Caleb Williams does before we start glazing him, perhaps, because ESPN already, that play of him rolling out to the left and throwing it off balance and dropping it in the bucket. Bryce Young did that like 2 hours later.
Again with the
I'll show you the video. Bryce Young did that like 2 hours later and got nothing. And everybody was like, oh, this is Mahomes-esque. No, it's not.
It's Bryce Young-esque.
Yeah, baby. But again, let's just see what Caleb Williams does before we start singing his praises. Their offensive line isn't great. They have a lot of really good skill positions, but I'm afraid that this is going to be. Do you guys remember when the Eagles signed, it was the year they signed Nnamdi Asomugha and all those free agents, and then the Giants did it again with Janoris Jenkins, and I think it's going to be similar to that, where it's like they kind of just brought everything together, and it's like it kind of doesn't mesh well, and it's not going to work.
In my head, I agree with you, but in my heart, I'm a big believer.
I know, me too.
Like, I can see this team actually doing it.
Yeah, but it's also the Bears. And they've never had a 30.
Bears fans deserve a good season.
I just feel it. I feel something.
There's been a brewing rivalry on social media between Panthers fans and Bears fans. So they've fallen out. I used to like the Bears. They were like my I'd root for them, but they've fallen out of my good graces recently.
What do they fight about? Who sucks more?
Oh no, it's like the whole kind of what I was saying, like when everybody glazes Caleb Williams and like, nah, Bryce Young does that too.
Okay.
And then it's like, well, thanks. Their only comeback is like, thanks for the pick. Like, okay.
Oh.
Thanks, man.
Oh, man. They both. Anyway, the 9-win Panthers, right?
Bookmark it.
They might not have 9 wins for the next 3 years.
Bookmark it.
The Arizona Cardinals are your third and final pretender.
Nicky, I think you can agree with me on this. How is this team getting like playoff buzz?
I don't know.
I think it was Emmanuel Acho was like, this team's going to win a wild card.
I don't think so.
They have nothing, and they just have nobody.
Trey McBride is a good tight end,
and he's not going to bring them to the playoffs.
Kyler Murray's a good quarterback.
He's all right.
Yeah.
They added Marvin Harrison Jr., but their defense didn't get any better. Their O-line didn't get any better.
They'll be a slightly below 500 team.
I think they're going to be significantly below 500.
I feel like they'll win 6-7 games. I love the Marvin Harrison Jr. pickup.
Absolutely,
I really do. But I agreed with you that they shouldn't be getting playoff buzz because they're not a playoff-worthy team.
This team is a couple years away. I like what they're doing. They're doing it right. Drafted Paris Johnson Jr. 2 years ago, Marvin Harrison this year. They still have Kyler locked up. Trey McBride is good. They just re-signed, I think it's Zaven Collins. Anyway, they have a good core. They're getting there, but it's just I think there's a lot to be desired in Arizona, and I just don't think that this team is ready.
I agree.
You know something? Marvin Harrison Jr. has been he's not on my team this year, but he has been a fantasy staple, a mainstay on my team for the past 6 seasons or whatever.
You know he's a rookie, right?
Well, who am I thinking of?
Kyler?
What?
Are you thinking of Kyler? Marvin Harrison Jr. is a rookie.
No, I'm talking about. Who am I thinking of?
On the Cardinals?
I know who you're thinking of because I thought the same thing when I was doing my draft, but I don't know.
When I saw his name, that's who I thought it was. Why am I blanking on the name? On the Lions for a while.
Marvin Jones.
Marvin
Yeah,
Jones.
yeah.
I got them mixed up. I was like, oh, I love that pickup. Marvin Jones has been on my team.
I think he just retired, but you know what's funny is I think he was on the Cardinals.
That's why.
Yeah.
I thought that's literally what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I love this guy. He's on my team all the time. He was on my team for 6 straight years.
Marvin Jones Jr.
He's a free agent.
Yeah, he never played with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was he was with the Bengals, he was with the Lions, and I think the Jaguars.
Yeah.
See, I know something. I just completely.
Yeah, MHJ is.
So I know.
Listen, man, you didn't make a mistake picking Marvin Harrison.
No, you don't.
No, but he's
good.
Great.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I don't care.
I was waiting for you to be like, I'm waiting for you to land this plane here, Chris.
I landed it into the water. right into the ocean. Yeah, no, but I agree with you both. I don't think the Cardinals are the playoff team. They're not.
So
you got some players to watch.
yeah, I have
like
some.
Kyler though.
I do like Kyler.
Kyler Murray's a good
So I have some players to watch. I just wrote my 3 biggest fantasy sleepers, I guess. Fantasy sleepers, players to watch. I wrote mine in just because you guys weren't on the script, so you feel free to.
Mine is Marvin Harrison Jr.
I don't think he's a sleeper. He's going in the second round.
Oh no, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
So, Nicky, you're kind of the. Well, you guys are both kind of fantasy guys, which is good.
Yeah.
I am.
I have one that I think people are underrating. Cooper Kupp.
Really?
Yes. I think in one of my drafts he went like 5th round.
Oh, the one I got kicked out of?
Yes.
I just got a bone to pick with your commish. I just want to let
Did you get kicked out because you're too good?
I don't know why I got kicked out.
Listen, there was a lot of beef last year.
Not with me.
Yeah, but you were in the group chat and you were saying stuff. You weren't starting the beef, but you weren't.
The beef was with you. You were the beef.
Dude.
The beef was with him and another teammate.
Okay, now I gotta deal with his whole family and them scamming each other with trades. So I don't want to hear it, man. You don't even want to be in the league. You don't even want to be.
You're in a good league with us.
I
the
am.
scoring's a little weird, but the teams are all cool. Everybody's cool.
Yes,
It's good. It's a good league.
I think Cup went like 6th in ours.
I think so. I don't know who took him.
I think I did. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is my?
I don't know why he's going so low. I think people are like overrating how much targets Pook is gonna take away from Cup. But Cup's back and he's healthy. Like, I think he's going to be relevant again. I don't think he's going to be MVP, but
I think it's going to be a pass-heavy offense, obviously. I think them saying Kyron's going to return punts, to me, is kind of like, they're probably going to rotate Kyron and Blake Corum pretty much.
Yeah.
You know. Any sleepers on your team, Christopher?
Well, sleeper-wise, not really. My fantasy sleeper every year is Dak Prescott. And I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. This guy has been in the top 5 for fantasy points in terms of quarterbacks in like every season he's played. And it's not a secret that I draft him and that I try to. And when I didn't draft him last year in one of my leagues, I hated it. And he still went off in my other league, and I was always lamenting that I didn't get him. Somebody took him first. But Dak Prescott is that guy. I didn't set him as my starter yet because I have Justin Herbert in, but I'm going to change that. I have 3 quarterbacks on my roster, and I think I have 3 really good ones. I have Justin Herbert, who he's a good quarterback, but I don't know that he's going to have the numbers. I have Caleb Williams, who is completely untested.
You have the same quarterbacks in this league as I do in my money league.
And then Dak Prescott. And I love it. I love it. Again, I have Derrick Henry, the non-Titan Derrick Henry, but I really, the sleeper every year, I have Justin Jefferson again. See, I redraft a lot of guys. He was only injured for 2/3 of the season last year. And then Puka, like we talked about, Puka Nacua. I love that you talked about Cup, but I really do think Puka's going to have a huge season. He showed what he could do last season. There is no doubt in my mind. I also loved my pick of Sam Laporta in at tight end. Again, he had a good season last year. I love it. Yes, it doesn't matter what team he plays for. He's a great tight end, and he's going to have a good season. He's going to catch touchdown passes, Anthony.
All right.
You're going to go against my team? You know how many times I've won? I was a finalist in both leagues last year.
He's going to be drafting Dak till he's 40.
Last year you came in 4th, and I came in 3rd, Christopher.
What are you talking about?
In our league?
What are you talking about?
I was a 3rd place team. You're the 4th place team.
No, I wasn't. I was in the finals.
No, you weren't. Not last year.
Yeah.
Matt beat Mike in the final last year. That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I was in the final.
Yeah.
And I was in the final last year of our league last year.
Yes.
And then I got booted. It was shocking.
Anyway, my fantasy sleepers. One, not really a sleeper. I don't understand how this guy's falling. I got him in my money league in like the 9th or 10th round. Brian Thomas Jr. of the Jags. He's wide receiver 1. Like, Christian Kirk is probably going to play in the slot. Gabe Davis is probably going to be a big body on the outside, and this guy's going to get a lot of the targets.
I have Christian Kirk
I feel like I stole him, so we'll put him in the steals.
I agree.
Now, these are my favorite sleepers. I have these guys in almost every one of my leagues. Number one is Ladd McConkey, wide receiver for the Chargers. They need a wide receiver one, and this guy is going to be wide receiver one. He is going to get Cooper Kupp-like targets. I see it coming. He's going to get rewarded because he's one of those Georgia guys. He's not the biggest, but he's going to block, and it's a Jim Harbaugh offense, and he's going to get the ball because he's going to get rewarded. And I think he's going to be shorthanded, and he's going to be a safety valve. I love Ladd McConkey. He's my biggest fantasy sleeper. This is another one where if you guys have a sleeper league, see if you can grab not a sleeper league, excuse me. If you guys have a keeper league, see if you can stash this guy. We'll do two for the keepers. Ben Sinnott, tight end for the Washington Commanders. This guy's awesome. He's behind Zach Ertz right now. A lot of people were saying he was tight end 1 coming out of this draft. I thought it was JT Sanders. Ben Sinnott's very good. I think Jaden Daniels is going to need a safety net. I think it's going to be very big on him kind of scrambling left, scrambling right, buying time, and Ben Sinnott's going to be blocking and then toss his guy and then be like, hey, over here, like very, very Jason Witten-esque.
I think you're right. I think you nailed it with Ertz because, I mean, he's a proven tight end. He's played in the league for a long time.
He's old. That's the thing. I mean,
and is he? He's just prone to injury.
Well, it's not only that. It's kind of like the Tyrod Taylor thing for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's behind Tyrod Taylor and then they start, they become a superstar. So Dallas Goedert was behind Zach Ertz. Trey McBride was behind Zach Ertz, and now Ben Sinnott is behind Zach Ertz. So it's like, I think that's just kind of how it's going to rock.
Zach Ertz is not a bad tight end, let's be honest.
No. He's just old.
Yeah.
He's old. And then another guy to stash, if you have IR spots, absolutely stash Keaton Mitchell, running back for the Ravens. We know Derrick Henry's not going to catch the ball, so they're going to need a third down back, and I think that's going to be Keaton Mitchell when he comes back off of his ACL. And now finally, this is my big one. If you can grab both of them, this is a good investment. Bo Nix and Troy Franklin. I think specifically Bo Nix. Go get Bo Nix.
What happened with that situation?
Oh, I made a mistake. That was when I texted in the chat that I messed up.
Yeah, I don't know what you were
what
talking
was
about
that?
because I like your pick
So
of Bo.
I've never used Sleeper before.
Love Sleeper.
And
Shout out
I
Sleeper.
needed a second quarterback.
That's great.
And
I love that.
but I was like, you know how like it shows you like 0 out of 2 for like each position.
Yeah.
At the very end it says rookie. So I was like, oh, I think we have to draft a rookie.
Okay. I think it's a good pick
so
anyway.
I was
so
like, all right.
You released
Yeah,
him.
I already released him. I swear to God. I was like, I don't need him.
no, I think he's going to be solid. Let's be real.
Almost picked him back up. But I have 3.
Denver is probably not going to be leading in a lot of games this year, so I think he's just going to be slinging it.
Sorry.
And they have Cortland Sutton. They don't have Jerry Jeudy anymore. It's Cortland Sutton and then a question mark.
Another guy on my fantasy
Cortland
team.
Sutton.
It was one of my last picks.
I think it's just a question mark after that. So Troy Franklin, Bo Nix, these guys went to college together. They were a big connection at Oregon. Denver drafted him for a reason. You know, it was kind of like that. I'm going to give you some names here, brother. It's kind of like when the Colts drafted Andrew Luck, then Kobe Fleener. Mm-hmm. How about that? Both went to Stanford.
Let me ask-
Kobe Fleener, that's a name you haven't heard in a minute.
I know. Let me.
I have his autographed rookie card.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me answer your question.
How many games do you see the Broncos winning this year?
I can see the Broncos winning probably like 4 to 6.
Yeah.
I was literally just gonna say 5.
Their defense isn't great, but I feel like they are going to be the trap team.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, we got Denver on the schedule. We're going to roll these guys. And the next thing you know, it's like Bo Nix has like 400 passing yards. You're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yep. It's going to be like December something and freezing, and Denver's just going to steamroll someone.
And they're gonna beat the hell out of like Dallas or
Yeah.
Philly. And you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
I don't know if they play, but.
Yep. I agree with you. Yeah, I was just wondering because I know some friends of the show, the Dev loves the Broncos, and
Their jerseys are sick.
and she thinks they're going to be terrible. Just they're going the way of the Rockies. Yeah, just not good. Very good, Anthony. Well done.
Thanks.
Well put together.
I didn't take a lot of time on that one. I'm proud of that.
Very
we
well
looking at
put
now?
together. We're at No, we're doing great.
We want to nix the baseball.
No, we just go over it for 1 minute. We're fine.
Beautiful.
We're fine.
And then we'll do the BTR separate.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You don't have to storyboard while we're on the air, right?
I was trying to make sure we were on the same page.
We can nix the baseball.
No, we just gotta no, it's a segment we do every week. It's to take 1 minute.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about the wild card race.
Chris is gonna talk while I eat a nacho.
Yes. So in the American League, we have the Royals and we have the Twins, and that's basically it. That's really all she wrote. It's really who's going to get wild card 2 and who gets wild card 3. And I think we've all been in agreement lately, even when they weren't, that the Royals are going to get 2 and the Twins are going to get 3. No, the Red Sox aren't catching anybody. And that's pretty much it.
By the way, I hope you started believing. I told you guys 2 weeks ago.
And then we have the third wild card in the NL, and the Braves just got swept in a recent series against Boston, and the Mets have won 5 games in a row and 7 of their last 10.
2 weeks ago.
And they are a half game out of a playoff spot.
And you guys didn't start believing.
No, you said start believing 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. Start believing.
When they were 3.5 games out. And then 2 weeks ago, they were still 3.5 games out. And then last week, they were 4.
4.5.
They were right around the same spot. And you string together wins and you get losses up ahead of you, and that's what you get. And so for Mets fans, I think they're sweating even more now because they're on the precipice of a first-round sweep.
This is the Islanders to a T.
It's exactly the Islanders.
Next week will be 3.5 out.
We said how many times did the Islanders? They're cooked.
They're cooked.
They're cooked. And then they were back for their 5-game series, of course. And then here are the Mets. Half a game back. That's 1 win either way. That's 1 win and a Braves loss away from the Metsies being in the playoffs.
Just give me
Not
my
even
4.
a win and a Braves loss. That's a win,
or a Braves loss.
Just give me my 4 games.
Well, it wouldn't be 4. It would be.
Just give me my 1 game.
It would be 3 guaranteed.
Just give me my 3.
Right. It could be 1, right?
Yeah.
It could be 1.
Just give me my 1 game.
What a tease. That I think, I think as a Yankees fan, if the Yankees were in the position the Mets are and they made a 1-game play-in, that would be the most awful thing ever. That is more nerve-wracking than like any hockey game I've ever watched. That's it. It's 1 game. It's like, that's it. That's just to sniff the dance. That's just to get in.
And I feel like baseball is the biggest any given Sunday team, like any given Sunday sport.
Yeah. I mean, even let's take a guy like Nestor Cortez, right, on the Yankees. This guy, he's a great pitcher, but some days he sucks. Some days he waddles around for 1 too many seconds on the mound before delivering, and he gives up 8 earned. So it could happen. Or he'll throw 7 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts and 1 walk. So the Mets, man, part of me wants them to do it.
Start believing.
I really want them to do it. I don't like the Braves, and I don't like the Mets particularly, but I never hated the Mets. I just like seeing the Mets fans miserable because it gives me something to be happy about for a few months until I'm miserable for 10 months. About the Isles. So I don't know. I think the Mets, I'm not saying I think they're going to. I hope they do.
Anthony, are you believing?
I want this team to die.
Anthony,
I want them to roll over and die.
Anthony just said, please just die. It's getting shorter. The text next to the Mets is getting less.
I said,
and less.
please. Actually, you didn't see it after it updated. I have it say it says, please just die. They're on a run and not dying.
That's what I typed.
You typed that?
In, yes.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I typed that while I was cooking dinner. I said they're on a run and not die.
Please just die.
Please just die. Oh, Anthony. Yeah, there you go.
So whoever's editing our clip, when we talk about the Mets, put in the Austin Powers, like the "Why won't you die?" Put that in. It's me. I won't.
That will be me editing it at work tomorrow during my prep. You don't eat lunch? No. I do the podcast during my prep. Okay, it's time for Grammy's Grinders of the Week. Okay?
I'll go last.
All righty, then. I will go first. My Grammy's Grinder of the Week, when I had it up here, what did I do? Here it is. My Grammy's Grinder of the Week is a gentleman from the Paralympics. That's right. And he does the T54 5,000 meter race. And so what T54 means, and I learned this, please forgive me for not being knowledgeable about the Paralympics. Don't you dare. I want to also say.
Is this the swimming?
No.
Okay.
I also want to say that this Paralympics, the viewership, I don't know the exact number, so I won't say a number and try to sound intelligent. But the ratings for this Paralympics are like through the roof, apparently. Peacock is doing them. They're kind of doing it the same way as the Olympics. And it's getting good coverage. I keep getting notifications about it.
It's getting amazing coverage.
Really?
Yeah, I actually watched some.
Absolutely.
It was
so
just like
have
on
I.
the TV, and I was like, oh.
I was watching. It was the one that was like bocce. They were like throwing the ball, and they were like, it was an unbelievable precision.
You know what I watched? I watched a blind or nearly blind person get second place in a swimming race.
That's just unbelievable.
Okay, did you see?
That's like superhuman.
It is. It's insane.
Did you see the swimming with the Chinese gentleman that didn't have any arms?
No, that's
I
superhuman.
saw ones that were missing a leg.
It's very superhuman. He lost a gold because he didn't have arms. He was dusting the guy next to him, and he didn't have anything to stroke with to touch the wall. So he just swam dead into the.
How is that? But how is that? How is that like
fair? It's not. He should have won the gold medal.
Because the other guy probably doesn't have legs.
I have to pull it up.
Well, I'd rather have arms if I was trying to reach the wall than legs, Nick. He could have just done a flip turn.
Touching the wall isn't the only part of the swimming race.
First of all, the fact that they're even in a pool missing a limb is ridiculously amazing.
Outswimming us by
oh my God, are you kidding me?
seconds and seconds and seconds.
Outswimming 99% of people that don't have missing limbs, aren't paraplegic. So anyway, go ahead.
I found it.
What are you doing? Oh, don't. Oh, no. This is not, see, it's not, first of all, it's not funny. Okay. How? I just want to know how these people are swimming. That's insanely good. The breath control. I'm going to put the video in. This video will be on there. You will send it to me. I mean, this is just insane. He's swimming with just his legs.
That is insane.
Look at the flutter kicks.
Look how he loses.
I thought that was fair and square.
No, this is going to sound horrible. If he had arms, that's a gold medal.
But if he had arms, he would not be in the Paralympics. Would he?
This guy is out of his mind.
Like, come on. So anyway, the T54 is a disability sport classification for disability athletics in the track and jump events. It classifies as people who have a spinal cord injury that compete using a wheelchair in track events. Okay? Did you catch that?
Yep.
Okay. So for the United States, or excuse me, for the winner of this was the United States' Daniel Romanchuk. And in a 5,000 meter final, a 10-minute 55-second time, I watched this, and it was outstanding. So he's got a spinal injury. He's on the bike with the two wheels that go this way and the one wheel in the front, and he's wheeling the bike. It's sort of like a wheelchair, but an athletic wheelchair. just fantastic. It's phenomenal. Claimed a gold medal for the United States. Which, again, I what I love about the coverage of the Paralympics is that it's so much more public this year, and as people become way more accepting of others despite a situation they can't control, which is either a physical disability or a mental disability. It's that the acceptance is really there. And even on like posts on Instagram and TikTok that I've seen, not compassion, but the comments underneath are very positive. There's always going to be people that are nasty, but really the comments and everything have been very positive. So it's been cool to see, especially as a teacher.
I mean, what these guys are doing is literally nothing short than, it's going to sound horrible, like like they're performing miracles.
It's Olympic worthy stuff.
With everything they've been dealt, like a man with no arms. Like, yes, we were laughing that how to stop the clock, he had to donk his head like a manatee. I get that.
I'm sure he might laugh that off too.
This guy is like world record swimming. Like faster than any. Chris was a lifeguard. Faster than Chris. And he was lifeguard certified.
By tens of seconds.
Still am. I'm still a lifeguard. But I mean, these guys are Olympians.
It's unbelievable.
It's not like anybody gets in. It's not like anybody gets into the regular Olympics except for ray gun. Okay.
Although, did you see the pregnant woman?
Oh yeah, she was archery.
The Paralympics.
Yeah, archery. Yeah, but like people are like misinforming the story. People are just saying that she's in because she's pregnant, and they're saying that's a disability, but it's not. She actually has a disability beyond that.
Being pregnant is not a disability.
I know.
Don't.
But people are trying to use
Melissa
it.
that.
People are trying to use it to twist it. But yeah, she has more to herself than that.
Well, yeah, because pregnancy is a temporary thing.
Yes.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But anyway, Daniel Romanchuk is my Grammys grinder of the week for winning the T54 5,000 meter race for the United States men in the Paralympics. Well done, sir. I will cover the Paralympics just as I did the regular Olympics. And I only say regular because that's how they're marketed. Next.
All right, my Grammys grinder back in football season, so it's going to be a lot of football guys. This guy, not necessarily a grinder, just super, super impressive. Ryan Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama. This kid had 2 touchdowns and 139 yards on 2 receptions, so he was 2 for 2. What is crazy to me is this guy is most likely going to be the next great Alabama receiver. This guy is 17 years old.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 wide receiver recruit out of somewhere in Alabama for the 2025 class. But he committed to play with Nick Saban, and then he said, you know what, I'm going to reclassify. He reclassified, graduated early, and left his junior season in high school, and now he's playing at Alabama. First game as a true freshman against, I believe it was Western Kentucky. 2 touchdowns on 2 catches. One of them went for like 76 yards. This guy's a stud. And what were you doing at 17, Chris?
Not that.
What were you doing at 17?
Getting in trouble.
I wouldn't have been getting in trouble.
I was
working at Desert Moon.
I was playing subpar to par varsity football. Now, you know what? I was playing above average varsity football in Connecticut.
How did we go from subpar to par to above average?
Because I was always very hard on myself. But then I was like, I was a college athlete.
You were, yes.
I was always very hard on myself. I was like, I kind of sucked. And like now I watch film and I was like, oh, no, I'm pretty good.
I mean, you can't be terrible and make a college team. Right?
You're right. Nicky, take it away.
Unless it's club hockey.
I have like technically 3, but it'll be quick. And Anthony doesn't need to put 2 on the graphic. Okay, so my first 2, I'm using my Hall of Fame on these 2.
What?
I'm not even putting it to a vote. I'm signing off on it personally. The first 2 are Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. I'm putting them in our Hall of Fame.
Why?
Because they grinded out careers, and it shouldn't have ended that way. And in honor of them, I'm putting them in the Hall of Fame.
To honor them.
Yes.
Okay.
There will be an asterisk next to it in the official book.
They are being honored,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I mean, well,
So
wait
it's
a
like
minute.
it's
No,
like
he's
Taylor's.
allowed
It's
to
like
do
yeah,
that.
but it's like Taylor Swift's degree from MIT. It doesn't really count.
Oh
What?
no! I
What?
wouldn't go that far because Benny is in the Hall of Fame.
And I can't say those words, but he is special.
He is a dumb dog.
He is a special dog.
And I love him, but he is a few light bulbs short. Whatever. He's a few something short of whatever. The elevator doesn't go to the top there, or even halfway. But all right, yes, I
thank you.
approve that.
Well, I wasn't asking for your approval, but anyway, my actual
Grammy would
Grammys
approve.
grinder is Botich van de Zan. Is there an issue, man? Is there an issue?
How do I spell that?
Botich van de Zandschulp.
Gutenschlagen. And who is this? What chess match did he win?
He didn't win a chess match. He won a tennis match again. I mean, is there an issue? Botich van de
I spelled it right.
Yeah, because I pronounced it right.
I love you. I love that, Nick.
What'd you want me to say? Botic van de...
Botich van der Schlag-
What's wrong with you people?
Okay, what did he do?
He beat Carlos Alcaraz in the U.S. Open. He was a plus 2,000 underdog.
That's incredible. That is the definition of a grinder right there.
And then he got dusted by Jack Draper.
Okay, Anthony, what's wrong with you? You know what? Let's go through all your grinders and see what they've done. A bunch of bums. And,
He said the
playing high
Panthers were
school
making
ball.
the playoffs. Don't listen to him.
I'm done.
Oh, Nick, that was fantastic. What a great pick. I
Thank
think
you.
that was a good pick. I like your honorary picks as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. That was fun. That was so much fun. I like your App State shirt. You really are an Appalachian State fan.
Well, the reason I'm wearing this App State shirt is, you know what? You're going to have to check that out on social media because these boys will be featured on Bet the Rent. How they're going to be featured on Bet the Rent? Check it out.
This has been Sports and Spaghetti. Thank you so much for watching to all of our new viewers and new listeners. We appreciate it. Sabrina will say her thing now.
Hi, it's subscribe. See you next video.
And really do hit that button, hit the subscribe button like she says because we don't have many and we want more. And that's really the simple fact of the matter. There's nothing in it. They all want Jolly Ranchers. All the kids want Jolly Ranchers. Can I get a Jolly Rancher? For what?
Is that against?
Because I was
Is that against policy?
Like if they win a game or whatever, like I can give them a Jolly Rancher or whatever. They're old enough to know if they can have it.
We might be able to figure something out.
But they're like, no, they're like, can I get one for what? For what? They're like, well, because I had a good day.
Oh, I thought you meant for subscribing.
No.
Let's say if you could subscribe, get 3 of your friends to subscribe that aren't in Mr. Walker's class, I'll buy you a Jolly
Maybe
Rancher
he'll
myself.
buy you a Jolly Rancher. But anyway, follow us on Instagram at Sports and Spaghetti Pod and on TikTok at Sports and Spag Pod. Like Anthony said, catch Bet the Rent on there. That's going to be a separate segment. And Nicky has his hand up. Yes, sir.
Please place my parlay. It is going to win you free money.
Wait till you hear this parlay.
I promise. I promise.
Stay tuned for that. That's going to be on the socials. If you're listening to this and it's before the weekend, please take... I can't say that. Nicky says you should take the bet.
It's a winner.
Go ahead, Anthony.
All right. That's Nikki. That's Chris. That's the best dish we've ever had on this show.
It's gone. They're all gone.
Yeah, I think this is the first one we've actually gotten close to finishing.
Lord.
I'm Ant. You're our listeners. This is Sports and Spaghetti. As always, take care of your loved ones. The Panthers about to make the playoffs. And as always,
It's the
stay
worst
full.
thing ever.